Hi, my loves. Welcome back to the Starscartel channel. If you don't know, I am Star. Today, I'm here with a dream. In this dream, I went out with my spouse, and while we were out, we began to argue. The argument got really bad, and we ended up splitting up to go home. So it was kind of like we had this really bad argument, and it got to the point to where we didn't even want to be around each other anymore. Um, he ends up walking off and leaving me by myself. I remember at that moment in the dream, I was very hurt. And because it's one thing to be mad, it's one thing to say you're frustrated, to say you're irritated, but to leave me by myself. And in the dream, you already know I'm a woman, and Houston is a very dangerous city. And typically, when I do go out, it's for what my spouse does for a living. So it kind of made me feel some kind of way that he would leave me by myself out at nighttime. Um, it kind of made me feel very unsafe. As I'm out, I have to use the restroom, and I pass up this building where there's a party being held, and I go in to try to use the restroom. Interesting enough, this part of the dream had two separate situations, like scenarios. The first one, I went and I asked to use the restroom. Um, Men told me yes, but women told me no. And when they said no, I just left the party. In the second one, I took the guy up on using the restroom, and I have no idea what happened. It's just kind of like it went from me going to use the restroom, and then I woke up in the restroom as if I never left the party, and I didn't know what happened while I was there. So many things can happen. People can put things in your drink. People can do all kind of things to you, especially when you're out. Um, it kind of reminds me of how there were a lot of police reports from women in Houston about men putting, I forgot the name of the drug, on their car door handles and or in their drinks, and them getting really sick, or even like uh, losing their life to being drugged. And it's basically a possibility of someone trying to kidnap someone. Okay, and that is where the dream ended. I woke up in the restroom. It was dark outside, like it was really, really late, and I had no idea where I was or how I would find my way home. At the end of the dream, I heard God's voice sing, "Why do you do the things that you do? Why do you treat me as you do? You don't care." Okay, that's the dream, y'all. The scripture God sent me to is Mark 10. And he arose from thence and cometh into the coast of Judah by the farther side of Jordan. And the people resort unto him again, and as he wont, he taught them again. And the Pharisees came to him and asked him, Is it lawful for a man to put away his wife, tempting him? And he answered and said unto them, What did Moses command you? And they said, Moses suffered to write a bill of divorcement and to put her away. And Jesus answered and said unto them, For the hardness of your heart he wrote you this precept. But from the beginning of the creation God made them male and female. For this cause shall a man leave his father and mother and cleave to his wife, and they twain shall be one flesh. So then they are no more twain, but one flesh. But what therefore God hath joined together, let no man put asunder. And in the house of his disciples, again, he asked them again the same matter. And he said unto them, Whosoever shall put away his wife and marry another committeth adultery against her. And if a woman shall put away her husband and be married to another, she committeth adultery. Okay, and that's the end of the scripture. Okay, y'all. So it stops at 11. Um, so this message is to someone. God is basically saying, like, Once you have made that commitment, you made that commitment. Like regardless of what is going on, you cannot just abandon your person. Like, long story short, like, you can't just abandon them. And it goes from both parts, from the man's point of view, it would be like you can't just abandon someone that you promised God you would take care of, especially if you know that it's dangerous. You don't know what could possibly happen. Even if you're mad, like right now what I'm seeing in my head is like God showing me a woman walking and a man is like 2 blocks down, but he can still see her at least. And it's not at a point like y'all don't have to talk, y'all don't have to be arguing the whole way. But for you to just abandon the person that you promised God you were going to ensure that they were safe and they were well taken care of, and now you like got so mad that you just took off and you don't care what happens to them, especially in a world where anything can happen. Okay. And just because you may be familiar does not mean that she's familiar. And I know from firsthand experience, even in the area where I am familiar, in the area where I'm from, where I was raised, where I grew up in, like some of the most dangerous and ridiculous things have happened to me. Okay. And like in my own hood, you know what I'm saying? The neighborhood I grew up on as a little girl that I played up on, like bad things have happened to me even in my own neighborhood. So there's not to say that you could be anywhere. It doesn't matter what's going on. I remember someone tried to kidnap me from downtown one time, and that's a nice part of town. So it's kind of like you can't always just assume that everything is going to be okay and just say you owe well to your duties, because you will have to deal with God on that point, because you are the one that promised God you would care for this person. And it goes the other way too for the woman. It is not okay to just first of all, take off like that. Even though we both kind of went separate ways, it's not okay to take off like that and make it difficult for your person to make sure you're safe. Nor is it okay to take up another man's offer on whatever is going on, because even though it may seem innocent, it may seem like nothing's going on. I feel like the fact that the other women were saying no, it's not okay in that dream, it was as if to test my judgment. So basically saying like God will test your judgment through other people. And if it feels like something is off, if you have a feeling that something is not right, don't put yourself in any kind of messed up positions, and I feel like the dream was a two-part to show how our choices can change, like, everything. In the first part, I like looked at how the women were looking and it made me feel uncomfortable, so I left. And obviously, I made it home and everything was fine, and that's why the dream ended for that part right there. But the second part, it was completely different. And I just feel like God is saying on both sides, like, um you have to be strong for one, and you have to be willing to withstand throughout the test of time. It's like it's a journey. Life is a journey, and just because you have got to a certain point in your life doesn't mean that life stops, if that makes sense. Like, just because you accomplish the goal of figuring out what your dream is, and then you actually went after your dream, you accomplished your dream, and you are now living your dream, it doesn't mean that life stops. Even in the times when I had felt as though I had accomplished every dream I had set forth to accomplish, I still had problems. I still had things that I was stressed over, things that I would worry about. And I just feel like for me to have gotten to that point at such a young point in my life, I just feel like it was for God to show me, okay, so everything that you planned is out the way. So now it's time for me to take over. And that's how I feel in my life now. I don't know where God is taking me, but I just know that I did what I'm just grateful that God allowed me to do what I wanted to do to an extent. Okay. He didn't allow me to get over, to go crazy with my dreams, but God allowed me to get to a point to where I am content with what I did as far as modeling. I'm content with what I did as far as being a makeup artist. Everything that I wanted to do, I accomplished it. I never intended to get to a certain point. I just wanted to do what I always dreamed of doing, and I wanted to do it my way. So I just feel like God is saying that just because he gives you things and you make accomplishments doesn't mean that problems are not going to happen. Okay, especially when it comes to relationships. But that does not mean that God is giving you a green light to just run away from your commitment. Okay. um that's the message. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Deuces.